Welcome to our channel, your gateway to the most spine-chilling tales and unnerving true stories. Today, we present a true story, horror camping story. The sun was a warm, amber disk in the sky, casting long shadows through the towering evergreens, as Alex and their dad, Jack, stepped out of their dusty pickup truck. They had been on the road since early morning, their journey a tapestry of paved highways, giving way to gravelly paths and finally to the narrow, uncharted trail that now lay before them. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, the symphony of the woods a stark contrast to the urban din they had left behind. Alex, a lanky 16-year-old with a mop of unruly hair and a penchant for the unexplored, had found the camping spot on an obscure online forum. The allure of the unknown had sparked a fire in their adventurous hearts, and Jack, a seasoned outdoorsman with a gentle smile and a knack for storytelling, couldn't resist the siren call of a new adventure with his son. The trailhead was unmarked, save for a solitary, weather-beaten wooden sign that creaked eerily in the breeze, as if whispering a warning to those who dared to pass. They shouldered their backpacks, the weight of their excitement and supplies a comforting burden. The trail, which had begun as a welcoming embrace of soft earth underfoot, grew more treacherous as they ventured deeper into the woods. Roots coiled like ancient serpents, tripping the unwary, and branches snagged at their clothes like the grasping hands of a forgotten spirit. Yet, the beauty of the wild was undeniable. Dappled sunlight played hide-and-seek with shadows, painting the forest floor in a mosaic of light and dark, and the rustle of leaves whispered secrets of hidden lives that flitted just beyond their sight. As they delved further into the wilderness, the path grew steeper, the trees more dense. The quiet grew from a gentle hush to a heavy, almost palpable silence that seemed to press in on them from all sides. It was a silence that spoke of ancient wisdom and a world untouched by the hand of man. Alex felt a thrill of anticipation, a shiver of fear dancing up their spine like an icy finger. This was what they lived for, the thrill of the wild, the tantalizing mystery of the unexplored. Jack, his eyes scanning the surrounding woods with the keen gaze of a man who had spent a lifetime in nature's embrace, took the lead. His stride was sure, his breathing steady, despite the incline that had Alex panting and sweating. They had come prepared, armed with a map, compass, and GPS. But Jack had always insisted that true navigation was in the gut and the heart. "You feel your way through the woods, son," he would say, "and she never steer you wrong." The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the canopy in shades of gold and crimson as they reached the campsite. It was a small, unassuming clearing, nestled in the crook of a mountainous elbow. A babbling brook provided a serene soundtrack, and a ring of large, flat rocks promised a cozy campfire. The trees stood sentinel around them, their branches entwined in a dance that had been performed for millennia. The air was cooler here, and the scent of the campfire they hadn't yet built seemed to hang in the air, a ghostly promise of comfort to come. They set to work with practiced ease, Jack showing Alex the best way to pitch their tents and build a fire pit. The crackle of the kindling was a familiar melody, one that had accompanied countless nights spent under the stars. They laughed and talked of past adventures, the warmth of the fire playing across their faces as they shared a dinner of roasted marshmallows and campfire tales. As the light grew dimmer, the shadows grew longer, stretching like fingers across the clearing. The woods grew quieter, the day's chorus of birds and insects replaced by the nocturnal whispers of the forest. It was in this twilight lull that they heard it, the distant, desperate screams of a man. The sound was faint at first, a mere echo of terror that could have been the wind playing tricks on their ears. But as the night deepened, the screams grew clearer, more insistent. They pierced the tranquility of their camp, sending a chill down their spines that no fire could warm. Alex's heart hammered in their chest, and even Jack's usually unflappable demeanor was shaken. They exchanged a look that needed no words. The script of their story had taken an unexpected turn. The screams grew louder, the source seemingly drawing nearer, the panic in the unseen man's voice a stark reminder of their own vulnerability in the face of the world. They clutched their flashlights tightly, the beams cutting through the darkness like feeble swords against an unseen enemy. Jack tried to keep his voice calm, a bastion of rationality in the face of the irrational. "Could be a hiker in trouble," he said. "Or maybe someone playing a prank." But the tremor in his voice belied his words. Alex, a budding journalist with a nose for a good story, couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this than met the eye. "But what if it's not?" they whispered, their voice barely audible over the rush of the brook. Jack knew better than to dismiss their fears. He had taught Alex to trust their instincts. After all, "We'll keep an eye out," he said. "But let's not go looking for trouble." The night deepened, the screams grew closer, and the campfire grew smaller. The shadows grew bolder, stretching from the trees to dance in the flickering light. The woods around them felt alive, as if the very earth itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to break the unsettling peace. As the moon climbed its silent ladder in the sky, the screams grew louder, closer. They could almost feel the panic, the raw, visceral fear that seemed to vibrate through the very air. Alex and Jack sat in tense silence, their eyes darting to the shadows that danced and twisted just beyond the firelight. The screams reached a crescendo, a heart-wrenching wail that seemed to shake the very trees themselves. And then, as suddenly as they had begun, they stopped. The silence that followed was deafening, a void that swallowed their breaths and held them in a vice grip of terror. For a moment, they dared to hope it was over, that the screamer had found help or had simply moved on. But the stillness was too absolute, too heavy with unspoken menace. And then, they heard it, the sound of twigs snapping underfoot, the rustle of leaves being pushed aside by something large and unseen. Jack's hand tightened around the handle of his axe, a silent message of protection to his child. Alex's grip on their flashlight grew slick with sweat, their heart racing. They held their breath, waiting for the monster in the dark to reveal itself. The woods remained still, the only sound the erratic thud of their own hearts. Yet, the feeling of being watched lingered, a malevolent presence that seemed to crawl over their skin like 1,000 invisible spiders. The night grew colder, the stars above a distant, uncaring audience to their plight. They huddled closer to the fire, the warmth a small bastion against the encroaching dark. But as the first light of dawn began to seep into the sky, turning the blackness to a deep, velvety blue, the sounds of the approaching creature grew fainter, retreating into the shadows from whence they came. As the sun began to rise, the forest slowly awoke, the birds tentatively starting their morning chorus. The campfire, now a pile of smouldering embers, cast a feeble glow over their tent, a stark reminder of the terror that had visited them in the night. They packed up their gear, the unspoken decision to leave unvoiced but understood. As they retraced their steps along the trail, the sun's warm embrace chased away the shadows of the night. Yet, the memory of the screams remained, a haunting echo in their minds. The journey back to civilization was fraught with tension, every snap of a twig or rustle of a leaf setting their nerves on edge. They spoke little, their eyes and ears straining for any sign of the unseen terror. But as they reached the truck, the horror of the night faded into the light of day. The world outside the woods was the same as it had ever been, mundane, untouched by the dark secrets of the night. Yet, Alex and Jack knew that something had changed. They had been invited into the wild, and the wild had accepted them. But at what cost? The unanswered questions lingered in the air as they drove away, the dense forest swallowing the dirt road behind them. The screams of the night had left a mark, a story untold that whispered through the trees, waiting for the next brave souls to venture into its embrace. The fiery sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky a symphony of reds and oranges as Alex and their dad, Jack, listened to the distant echoes of a man's desperate cries. The screams grew closer, each one a harbinger of the impending nightfall. The campsite, once a serene sanctuary nestled within the embrace of ancient trees, now felt like a prison, the towering sentinels casting long, eerie shadows that danced in the flickering firelight. Jack, a man of stoic resolve, felt the weight of his decision to explore this remote location. His eyes, seasoned by years of venturing into the unknown, searched the woods with a newfound urgency. The cries grew louder, more desperate, and the hairs on the back of his neck stood on end. "Dad," Alex's voice trembled, their youthful curiosity now tainted with fear. "We have to help him." Jack, a tower of reassurance, took a deep breath and turned to face their child. "I'll go," he said firmly. "You stay here. Keep the fire going. And don't move." Alex nodded, swallowing the lump in their throat. They watched as their dad disappeared into the encroaching darkness, the rustling of leaves and snapping of twigs, the only reminder of his presence. The fire crackled unspit, casting a warm glow on their anxious face. The night grew colder, and the silence thickened. Alex stoked the fire, each popping ember sending sparks into the inky abyss above. They couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The trees whispered secrets in the breeze, secrets that made their heart race and palms sweat. The screams had stopped. The sudden silence was deafening. Alex looked around, the shadows playing tricks on their eyes. They heard it again, faint at first, a whisper carried on the wind. "Alex," their name, a soft, sweet sound, yet it sent a chill down their spine. They called out for their dad, but only the echo of their own voice returned. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. "Alex, come closer." The voice seemed to come from every direction, a chorus of whispers that grew more seductive with each call. The firelight danced on the leaves, casting patterns that grew more menacing with each passing moment. Ignoring their fear, Alex picked up the flashlight and stepped into the night. The forest floor crunched beneath their feet as they cautiously approached the source of the voice. The trees grew denser, the path narrowed, and the canopy of leaves above blocked out the moon's glow. They paused, their breath shallow, and listened. The whispers grew softer, more enticing. "Alex, I'm here." The voice was now just beyond the edge of their vision, beckoning them further into the woods. Jack, a skilled tracker, had followed the screams to a small clearing. His heart sank as he found no sign of the man in distress, only a trail of blood leading into the thick underbrush. He called out into the void, but his words were swallowed by the ever-present whispers that seemed to be following him as well. Back at the campsite, Alex ventured deeper into the woods, the whispers of their name growing clearer, more personal. They felt a strange pull, as if the very essence of the forest was guiding them. The trees parted to reveal a clearing, illuminated by a soft, ethereal glow. In the center stood a figure, shrouded in shadow. "Dad," Alex called out, their voice shaking. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a young woman with piercing eyes and a sad smile. "I'm not your father," she said, her voice a melody that seemed to resonate within Alex's soul. "But I need your help." Jack, his instincts honed by a lifetime of outdoor survival, realized he was being led away from the campsite. He retraced his steps, fighting against the siren's call of the whispers. His heart pounded as he broke through the trees and saw Alex standing with the mysterious woman. "Alex, no," he shouted, racing toward them. The woman's smile grew wider, more sinister. "You can't have them," she said, her voice a cacophony of whispers. "This is their destiny." The ground beneath them began to tremble, the trees around them groaning as if in protest. The whispers grew to a crescendo, drowning out Jack's cries. Alex felt a force, ancient and powerful, tugging at their very being. The woman reached out a hand, her fingers brushing against Alex's arm. "Embrace the wild," she murmured. "Let it in." Jack lunged, his arms wrapping around Alex, pulling them away from the woman. The world around them blurred, the whispers morphing into a cacophony of roars and howls. The ground split open, revealing a gaping maw of darkness. Alex looked into their dad's eyes, filled with a mix of terror and determination. "We can't outrun this," they whispered. Jack nodded, his voice low and steady. "Then we face it together." The woman's laughter grew as the earth continued to shake, the more threatening to swallow them whole. Jack pushed Alex behind him, drawing a knife from his belt. "What are you?" he demanded. "I am the keeper of the forest," she replied, her eyes flashing with an unearthly light. "And you, dear Alex, are the one we've been waiting for." The whispers grew louder, more insistent, as the moor widened. Alex felt a surge of power, a bond with the very earth beneath their feet. They stepped forward, their voice strong and clear. "I am not yours to claim," they declared. The woman's smile faltered, and the whispers grew quieter. Alex reached out a hand, and the ground beneath them began to mend. The shadows retreated, the whispers fading into the night. Jack and Alex stood, panting, as the forest grew still once more. They looked at each other, the reality of what had just transpired slowly sinking in. "What was that?" Alex asked, their voice barely above a whisper. Jack sheathed his knife, his eyes never leaving the spot where the woman had stood. "I don't know," he said, "but we need to get out of here." They made their way back to the campsite, their hearts racing, their bond stronger than ever. As they packed up their gear, the whispers grew faint, the forest reclaiming its quiet dignity. They knew they had been touched by something ancient and powerful, something that would change their lives forever. As they hiked back to civilization, the whispers of the trees grew distant, replaced by the comforting sound of their own footsteps. They had survived the first night, but the secrets of the woods were far from revealed. Their adventure had only just begun. The forest had transformed. The once comforting embrace of the towering trees now felt like a prison, the shadows stretching out like fingers of the night, reaching for Alex. The warm glow of the campfire behind them grew smaller as they followed the haunting echo of their name through the dense underbrush. Alex's heart raced as they stumbled over the twisted roots of ancient oaks, their flashlight casting a feeble beam of light that danced on the leaf-covered ground. Each step seemed to amplify the silence that had fallen since the screams ceased. The darkness grew thick, almost tangible, as the whispers grew more insistent, their name weaving through the air like a siren's call. Suddenly, the whispers stopped. The beam of light fell upon a monolithic tree, its trunk wider than any Alex had ever seen. Carved into the bark was a symbol, ancient and foreboding, that seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. The symbol was a circle, bisected by a single line, and at its center was an intricate pattern that looked almost like a face, contorted in pain or perhaps something deeper. Alex reached out to touch the carving, the rough bark digging into their fingertips. The moment their skin made contact, a chilling gust of wind tore through the woods, extinguishing their flashlight. For a moment, they were plunged into complete darkness. And then, as if by some unseen hand, the light flickered back to life. The whispers had stopped, replaced by a deafening silence that seemed to scream in their ears. Back at the camp, Alex's dad, Jack, stumbled into the clearing, his face etched with fear. His eyes darted to the spot where Alex had been sitting, now empty. "Alex," he bellowed into the night. The only response was the distant hoot of an owl. Panic set in as he realized his child had ventured out alone. Alex traced the symbol with trembling fingers, feeling the cold seep into their bones. They knew they should leave, return to the safety of their camp. But something held them there. The whispers had been so real, so personal. They felt drawn to this ancient message, as if it was speaking directly to them. Jack frantically packed up their gear, throwing supplies into their backpack. The whispers grew louder in his head, urging him to follow the path Alex had taken. He grabbed a map, a flicker of doubt crossing his face, as he questioned his decision to rely on the directions from that obscure online forum. Yet, the urgency to find Alex overrode his fears. Alex's gaze was drawn to the ground, where they found a trail of shimmering petals, unlike any they had seen before. They followed the path, the petals leading them deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller, their branches intertwining above to form a canopy that blocked out the moonlight. Jack retraced their steps, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. The whispers grew louder, now a cacophony of voices, all calling for Alex. His own name was lost in the mix, a silent plea for his child's safety. His eyes fell upon the same tree that had captured Alex's attention, the symbol etched into its bark like a brand. The petals led Alex to a clearing, the center of which held a gaping hole in the earth. The pit was surrounded by more of the mysterious symbols, each one telling a story of darkness and fear. The whispers grew into a crescendo, and Alex felt a hand on their shoulder. Jack's pulse quickened as he approached the clearing. He saw the hole, the symbols, and the petals, and he knew that something was terribly wrong. He called out for Alex again, his voice cracking with desperation. Turning around, Alex found themselves face to face with a figure dressed in tattered clothes, their eyes burning with the same otherworldly light as the symbol on the tree. The figure's mouth moved, but instead of speech, the whispers grew louder, now a chorus of voices speaking in unison. Jack broke into a sprint, the whispers guiding him to the clearing. He saw the figure standing over Alex, and without a second thought, he lunged, tackling the being to the ground. The figure dissolved into a cloud of shadow, the whispers dissipating with it. Alex looked up at their dad, eyes wide with terror. "We have to go," they whispered, the gravity of their voice carrying more weight than Jack had ever heard. Together, they retreated from the clearing, the strange whispers now a fading memory. The trek back to the car was a blur, the forest seemingly closing in around them with every step. The air grew colder, the silence oppressive. They could feel the eyes of the forest upon them, watching, waiting. Finally, the car came into view, a beacon of hope in the blackness. They fumbled with the keys, the engine roaring to life like a living creature, eager to escape the clutches of the woods. As they sped away from the campsite, the whispers grew faint, the shadows retreating from the headlights. Yet, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed them, hiding just out of sight. The drive home was tense, the silence between them filled with unspoken fears. They knew they had stumbled upon something ancient and malevolent, something that had claimed the soul of the man whose screams had led them to this nightmare. As they pulled into their driveway, Jack looked at Alex, his eyes reflecting the horror of what they had experienced. "We're never going camping again," he said, his voice shaking. Alex nodded, clutching the seatbelt tightly. They knew that the forest had changed them, that the whispers had left a mark on their souls, but they also knew that the secrets of the woods would not let them go so easily. The house was a sanctuary, the warmth and light a stark contrast to the cold embrace of the forest. Yet, as they sat in the safety of their living room, the whispers began to return, softer now, but present. They knew that their lives would never be the same. The next day, Jack reported the camping trip to the local rangers, omitting the supernatural events. The rangers found no signs of anyone else having been in the woods. The mysterious whispers and ancient symbols dismissed as the product of an overactive imagination. But Alex knew the truth. The whispers grew stronger each day, the symbol etched into their mind, the call of their name a constant reminder of the shadow that had followed them home. The series of strange occurrences continued, each one more disturbing than the last. The whispers grew clearer, more demanding, and the line between reality and nightmare began to blur. The house feels unusually quiet when Alex wakes up the next morning. The memory of the haunting screams and the eerie whispers in the forest is still fresh in their mind, playing out like a recurring nightmare that refuses to fade away. The sun filters through the curtains, casting a warm glow over their bedroom, but it does little to chase away the shadows of the night before. They sit up with a start, the bed sheets tangled around their legs like the underbrush that had clung to them in the woods. Alex's father, Jack, is already up, his heavy footsteps echoing through the hallway. He moves about the kitchen, his eyes bloodshot, his movements mechanical as he brews a pot of coffee. The scent fills the house, a comforting balm against the lingering tension. Alex shuffles in, still in their pajamas, their eyes searching for answers in their dad's weary gaze. "Dad, we can't just leave it like that," Alex says, their voice a mix of concern and determination. "We have to go back." Jack sighs, his hand clenching around the coffee mug. "Alex, we talked about this. That place isn't safe. But what if someone's in trouble? What if they're hurt?" Jack sets the mug down, his expression softening. "I know you're worried, but we're not trained for this. Let's just leave it to the rangers." But Alex is not one to be easily deterred. They've spent the last few hours poring over the internet, piecing together a tapestry of forgotten lore and chilling campfire stories about the area. "Dad, I found something. There's a history to that place. A lost civilization, rituals, something. Jack raises an eyebrow. Curiosity piqued despite his reservations. Go on. Alex pulls out a stack of printed pages. Their eyes alight with excitement. They say that if you go into the deepest part of the woods, you can still hear the whispers of the ancient people who once lived there. And the symbol I found. Jack takes a deep breath, his expression a tapestry of skepticism and paternal concern. Fine, but only if we go prepared, and only if we stick together. The following day, they load up their gear into the car, a mix of excitement and dread bubbling in their stomachs. The journey back to the campsite feels much longer than it did before, as if the very road is trying to dissuade them from returning. The woods seem to press in closer, the trees casting long, ominous shadows that dance in the wind. As they arrive at the campsite, now abandoned and eerily silent, Alex can't shake the feeling that they're being watched. They unpack their gear, setting up camp with a sense of urgency that wasn't there the first time around. Jack's eyes dart around the clearing, his hand hovering near the hunting knife at his side. The sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting a warm, orange light over the campsite. Alex pulls out their flashlight, the beam cutting through the gathering dark. Let's go find that symbol, they say, their voice a whisper. Jack nods, his face a mask of stoic resolve. They make their way into the woods, retracing their steps from the previous night. The underbrush is thick, but the path seems more familiar now, as if it's been waiting for them to return. They find a symbol carved into the bark of a towering oak, its intricate design almost glowing in the fading light. It's a circle, bisected by a serpentine line, with a series of ancient symbols etched around the edges. Alex reaches out to touch it, the wood feeling cold and foreign against their fingertips. Jack's hand closes over theirs. Be careful, he warns. This isn't a joke. The whispers start again, faint at first, but growing louder. Alex's heart races as they realize that the voices are speaking in a language they can almost understand, a tongue that seems to resonate deep within their soul. They're speaking about a path, Alex murmurs, a forgotten path that leads to the heart of the woods. Jack's eyes widen. We need to get out of here. But Alex is drawn to the voices, their curiosity and unquenchable thirst. They pull away from their dad's grip and follow the sound, the whispers growing clearer, more insistent. The path is narrow, barely visible beneath the carpet of leaves and ferns. The trees close in around them, their branches reaching out like gnarled fingers. The whispers guide them deeper into the forest, leading them through a labyrinth of shadows. The air grows colder, the scent of damp earth and moss thickening with each step. The moon casts a silver glow through the canopy above, illuminating the way just enough to keep them from stumbling. Suddenly, the whispers stop, and the forest holds its breath. The silence is deafening, a stark contrast to the cacophony of night sounds that had accompanied them thus far. Alex's heart pounds in their chest as they round a bend and come face to face with a clearing. In the center of the clearing stands a stone altar, ancient and covered in moss. A soft, pulsing light emanates from within, casting a sickly green hue over the surrounding area. The whispers have turned into a chant, a low hum that seems to resonate with the very air around them. Alex approaches the altar, their eyes drawn to the center, where a set of bones, long picked clean by the forest scavengers, lie in a disturbingly human shape. Their stomach turns, but they can't look away. This isn't right, Jack murmurs, his hand resting protectively on Alex's shoulder. We should leave. But Alex is transfixed. They reach out to touch the stone, the vibrations from the chant growing stronger beneath their fingertips. The moment their hand makes contact, the light within the altar flares, blinding them. When the light fades, they're no longer alone. Figures, shrouded in darkness, emerge from the shadows. They're tall, with elongated limbs and eyes that gleam like moonlit pools of water. The figures surround the altar, their chanting growing louder, more urgent. Alex tries to speak, to ask for help, but their voice is lost in the cacophony. The figures seem to be in a trance, unaware of their presence. The ground trembles beneath their feet, and the air grows colder still. A sense of dread fills Alex's chest as they realize that they've stumbled upon something far more ancient and powerful than they could have ever imagined. The chant reaches a crescendo, and the altar splits open, revealing a staircase that descends into the earth. The figures begin to move, swaying in unison as if beckoning them to follow. Jack grabs Alex's arm, trying to pull them away, but something compels them to stay. The whispers in their head have become a siren's call, louder than their father's voice. "Alex, come on," Jack pleads, his voice strained. But Alex can't resist. They follow the figures into the earth, the stairs leading them into a cavern that stretches into the bowels of the forest. The walls are lined with more ancient symbols, each one telling a story of a civilization long forgotten. The cavern opens up into a vast chamber, the ceiling lost in darkness. The light from the altar casts eerie shadows across the space, revealing more altars, more bones. At the far end of the chamber stands a figure, taller and more terrifying than the others. It turns to face them, and Alex sees that it's not made of flesh and bone, but of the very shadows that have haunted their dreams. The figure opens its mouth, and the whispers coalesce into a single, clear word: welcome. Jack's grip on Alex's arm tightens. "We have to get out of here," he whispers urgently. But Alex is drawn to the creature, their mind racing with questions. "What do you want?" they ask, their voice echoing through the chamber. The creature's eyes narrow, and the whispers swirl around them like a storm. "To be remembered," it says, its voice like the rustling of leaves. The episode culminates in a tense standoff between the father and daughter, and the ancient, shadowy figure. The creature speaks of a time long past, when humans revered the forest and its inhabitants, and of the pact that was broken. The whispers grow softer as the creature explains that the lost civilization was destroyed by greed and ignorance. The screams they heard were the echoes of its people's anguish, trapped in the woods, seeking vengeance. Alex feels a strange kinship with the creature, a pull that resonates in their very core. They know that they have a part to play in this ancient drama, a role that could either save or doom the spirits of the forest. Jack, ever the pragmatist, tries to convince Alex that they need to leave, that they're meddling with forces beyond their understanding. But Alex is resolute. They believe that by uncovering the truth and setting things right, they can free these trapped spirits and restore balance to the woods. The creature beckons them closer, and with a trembling hand, Alex reaches out to touch it. The connection is electric, a surge of power and knowledge that courses through their veins. They see the past unfold before them like a movie, the beauty and the horror of a world lost to time. The creature tells them of a ceremony that can be performed to atone for the past and bring peace to the restless spirits. It requires a sacrifice, something of great value to the living world. Alex looks to their dad, his eyes filled with fear and love. They know what they must do. They take a deep breath and pull out their most cherished possession, a necklace that had belonged to their late mother. The creature takes the necklace, the whispers growing to a fever pitch. The chamber begins to shake as the ground opens up, swallowing the altars and the bones. The figures around them dissolve into the shadows, the light from the necklace guiding the spirits to their final rest. The creature's form flickers, and for a brief moment, Alex sees the face of their mother, a sad smile playing on her lips. "Thank you," she whispers, her voice lost in the cacophony. The cavern collapses around them, the earth swallowing the chamber whole. Alex and Jack are thrown to the ground, the weight of the earth pressing down on them like a living thing. When they emerge from the forest, the sun is rising, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold. The whispers are gone, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves and the call of morning birds. They make their way back to the car, the journey out feeling much shorter than the one in. As they drive away, the forest seems to close in behind them, as if the very trees are sighing with relief. The silence in the car is heavy, both of them lost in their thoughts. Alex holds the empty chain of the necklace in their hand, a symbol of the burden they've lifted. "We can't tell anyone about this," Alex says finally. Jack nods, his eyes never leaving the road. "It's our secret," he agrees. Back at home, life returns to a semblance of normalcy, but the experience has changed Alex. They carry the weight of the woods with them, the whispers of the forgotten civilization echoing in their mind. They know that the path they've chosen is fraught with danger, but they also know that they've been granted a gift, a connection to the natural world that most people will never understand. The screams in the night have stopped, replaced by the gentle whispers of the forest that now feel like a comforting lullaby. But the whispers hold a warning, a promise that their journey is far from over. Alex, sitting at their desk, surrounded by research materials and a newfound resolve. They know that there are more secrets in the woods, more lost souls that need their help. Alex sits in front of their computer, surrounded by stacks of dusty books and printouts, their eyes scanning through the digital archives of forgotten histories and local folklore. The room is dimly lit, the curtains drawn tightly to keep out the intrusive sunlight. The screen flickers, displaying an ancient map of the woods they had just visited, with a highlighted area around the unassuming campsite. The whispers from the night before still echo in their mind. A siren's call that has lured them into this feverish research. Alex's dad, Jack, sits on the worn couch, nursing a cup of coffee. The lines on his face are deeper today, a silent testament to his unspoken fears. He tries to shake off the haunting memory of their last trip. Alex bursts into the room, their eyes alight with a newfound sense of urgency. Alex, Dad, I think I've found something. Jack sighs. What is it, Alex? Alex, look at this. The symbol we found in the woods. It's linked to an old legend about a lost civilization that used to live in those very woods. They had some kind of ritual. Jack sets his coffee down, his hand trembling slightly. Jack, Alex, we talked about this. We're not going back there. It's not safe. Against Jack's wishes, Alex has packed a bag and is about to leave. They look back at their dad, the pleading in their eyes clear. Alex, we have to. We can't just ignore this. Jack sighs, resigning himself to the inevitable. Jack, fine. But we're going prepared this time. The car's engine rumbles to life as they drive back to the woods. The atmosphere in the car is thick with unspoken tension. The radio static fills the silence. The sun dips below the horizon, and as they arrive at the campsite, the symbol on the tree is now more pronounced, seemingly etched deeper by the shadows of the night. The tent stands tall, with the symbol now emblazoned on the fabric in a chilling manner. Jack and Alex sit inside the tent, the flickering candle casting eerie shadows on their faces. Alex shows Jack the research they've done. Alex, they called themselves the Whispered Ones. They had a ceremony where they'd leave a symbol like this. It was a warning. Jack swallows hard. A warning for what? Alex, for the people they were going to sacrifice. The whispers begin, faint at first, then growing louder and more insistent. They come from all around the tent, an unseen chorus that seems to be closing in. Jack peeks through the tent flap, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. The whispers grow more coherent, forming words that make his blood run cold. The whispers become a cacophony, their names being called out in unison. Jack yells, Alex, get in here now. Jack and Alex stumble through the woods, the whispers echoing through the trees. They trip over roots and rocks, their hearts racing as the voices grow closer. The whispers lead them to a clearing, where a group of ancient stone structures stand, covered in moss and thyme. The whispers are coming from within the structures. They enter a chamber, the whispers now deafening. The walls are adorned with the same symbol that has followed them. At the center, a glowing stone pulses with a malevolent energy. As they emerge from the chamber, the whispers die down. They see figures in the distance, shrouded in shadow, watching them. Alex and Jack huddle in the tent, their breathing ragged. They hear the sound of footsteps circling their camp. The whispers now replaced by a low chant. The figures are gone, but the whispers have left a tangible presence in the air. They find their names carved into the trees around the camp, the bark freshly gouged. Back home, the whispers continue, now an inescapable part of their lives. The symbol appears in unexpected places, a silent sentinel of the horrors they encountered. The whispers crescendo, filling the house. The lights flicker, Alex and Jack clutch each other, realizing they're not alone. On the computer, the forum where they found the campsite's recommendation has a new post. It's a video, taken from the perspective of the lost man, showing him stumbling into the clearing. The same figures approaching him. The video ends with the camera dropping, the man's final, desperate screams fading into the digital void. The whispers now fill their house, the shadows stretching and reaching out to them. The symbol on the tent now burns into the fabric of their reality, appearing on the walls, the floor, everywhere they look. The screen flickers and changes to a new message: "You're next." Alex and Jack, realizing the gravity of the situation, decide to seek help from an expert in ancient civilizations. The whispers grow so loud it's as if the house itself is speaking to them, taunting them with their impending doom. The expert, Dr. Elara, listens intently, her eyes widening with every word. She examines the symbol and the footage from the forum. "Dr. Elara, you've stumbled upon something ancient and powerful. This civilization was feared for their dark rituals, and it seems you've awakened something that was meant to stay asleep." The whispers are now a constant presence, speaking in a language that feels as old as the earth itself. The symbol is everywhere, pulsing with a sinister glow. The next day, Dr. Elara provides them with an ancient artifact to use as protection and instructions for a counter-ritual to banish the whispers. "Dr. Elara, you must go back to the clearing and perform this. It's the only way to free yourselves from their curse." Armed with the artifact and the instructions, Alex and Jack make their way back to the clearing. The whispers grow more frantic as they approach. They enter the chamber, the stone pulsing with a dark energy. Alex begins the counter-ritual, their voice trembling with fear and determination. The whispers in the house fade as the ritual progresses. The symbol on the walls begins to fade. The pulsing stone grows brighter, the whispers turning to screams of anger. The earth shakes beneath their feet as the ritual reaches its climax. The whispers stop. The symbol on the walls vanishes. Silence falls, a stark contrast to the chaos that had been their lives. Alex and Jack emerge from the chamber, exhausted but alive. The whispers are gone, the figures in the shadows no longer watching them. The house is quiet, the whispers and symbols erased from their lives. They sit together, their bond stronger than ever, knowing they've faced something beyond their understanding and survived. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with a canvas of fiery reds and oranges, as Alex and their father, Tom, worked tirelessly to set up camp. They had chosen a spot further from the mysterious symbol that had haunted their dreams, hoping that distance would grant them peace. The whispers from the night before lingered in their minds like a sinister melody, echoing through the trees, taunting them with its secrets. Alex lay in their sleeping bag, eyes glued to the tent fabric as shadows danced upon it. The memory of the symbol's discovery still sent a shiver down their spine. Tom's snores from the adjacent sleeping bag provided a comforting rhythm, yet the forest silence was a stark reminder of the whispers that had filled the night. Alex couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. They had studied the map, the same one that had led them to the symbol, over and over again. It showed no signs of a nearby civilization, yet the whispers had been so human, so close. The duo ventured into the woods to gather firewood, their footsteps crackling through the underbrush. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, but there was something else, a scent that didn't quite belong. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it hung in the air like a warning. The light from the setting sun cast an orange glow through the tent's mesh window, illuminating the tension etched on their faces. They sat in silence, the crackling fire outside their only company. The whispers had been absent since their return to the camp, but the anticipation was palpable. As the last light of day disappeared, the whispers began again. This time, they were clearer, more insistent. Alex felt a chill run down their spine as they heard their name called out from the shadows. Tom's eyes darted around the tent, his hand firmly gripping a flashlight. "It's just the wind," he assured Alex, though his voice was tight with fear. But Alex knew better. They had heard their names too clearly, too many times. Alex stepped out into the chilly night, the whispers growing louder. They followed the sound, their heart pounding like a drum in their chest. The beam of their flashlight danced through the trees, revealing nothing but the dark silhouettes of branches. Tom woke with a start, realizing Alex was gone. He grabbed a knife and dashed out into the night, calling for them. The whispers grew louder, now a cacophony of voices, beckoning him into the woods. Alex stumbled upon a clearing, their flashlight beam illuminating a peculiar old woman dressed in tattered garments. Her eyes, bright with a knowing glint, met theirs. She spoke in a croaky voice. "You've been marked by the whispers of the forgotten." Panic set in as Tom searched for Alex. The whisper surrounding him, the voices grew more distinct, speaking of a curse that had gripped the woods for centuries. The old woman, Agnes, told Alex of a lost civilization that had once thrived in the area. They were consumed by the very shadows that whispered to them, feeding a malevolent force, she croaked. Tom found the tent abandoned, his calls to Alex swallowed by the whispers. He knew they had to leave, but how could they find their way out in the dark? Agnes spoke of the ancient symbol, a gateway to a realm of darkness that could only be closed by those pure of heart. The whispers are its call, she warned. It feeds on fear and isolation. Tom's eyes fell upon the map, a sudden realization washing over him. The whispers grew louder, urging him to find Alex. Alex, captivated by Onnes's story, felt a strange pull towards the symbol. The whispers grew softer as they approached, as if lulling them into a false sense of security. With trembling hands, Tom grabbed the map and a handful of supplies. He had to find Alex before it was too late. Agnes spoke of a ceremony, a way to break the curse. "You must face your fears," she instructed. "Together, you may find the strength to close the gateway." Tom stepped out into the night, the whispers now a deafening roar. He followed the path of the whispers, leading him deeper into the forest. Alex reached the symbol, feeling the power of the whispers coalesce around it. They reached out to touch it, feeling the dark energy pulse beneath their fingertips. Tom's flashlight beam pierced the darkness, searching for any sign of Alex. The whispers grew quieter as he approached the symbol. Onnes's words echoed in Alex's mind. "Fear is the key," she had said. "Embrace it, and you may find the strength to overcome." Alex took a deep breath and stepped away from the symbol. Tom found Alex standing before the symbol, the whispers fading. They looked into each other's eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. With the whispers gone, Tom and Alex shared their experiences with Agnes. Her eyes grew wide as she realized the gravity of their situation. Agnes revealed the ceremony to break the curse. It required a pure heart and an offering of courage. They had until dawn to perform it. The three of them set out, collecting materials for the ceremony. The forest felt eerily calm, as if it were holding its breath in anticipation. With the first light of dawn breaking through the canopy, they performed the ceremony. Alex offered their fear, symbolized by a necklace that had once brought them comfort. The symbol began to glow, the whispers growing distant. The symbol pulsed with light, the whispers now a faint echo. The forest breathed a sigh of relief, the curse lifted. Alex and Tom embraced, tears of relief in their eyes. Agnes, her eyes now clear and bright, offered a knowing smile. "You've done well," she said before vanishing into the morning mist. They packed their camp, the shadows of the woods no longer holding the same terror. The whispers had disappeared, replaced by the gentle chirping of birds. As they drove away, the sun climbed into the sky, casting a warm glow over the woods. They had survived the night, their bond stronger than ever. Alex looked back at the receding forest, the symbol just a speck in the distance. They knew they would never forget the whispers of the wild, but they also knew they had faced their fears together. The gloomy sky had cleared, revealing a patchwork of stars that pierced through the canopy of the ancient forest. The crunch of dry leaves underfoot echoed through the silence as Alex and their dad, Marcus, trekked further into the woods, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the tree trunks that loomed like sentinels. The whispers from the previous night had taken a toll on both of them, leaving them weary and unnerved. Despite the unease, they had returned, driven by a strange compulsion to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the heart of the forest. Alex, A 16-year-old with a penchant for adventure sat cross-legged in the center of their tent, surrounded by the gear they had meticulously packed. The flicker of candlelight danced across their face, highlighting the determination in their eyes as they pored over the pages of a dusty, old book titled The Lost Civilizations of the Woodland Whispers. Marcus, a seasoned outdoorsman with a gentle disposition, rummaged through their supplies, his eyes occasionally darting to the mysterious symbol etched onto the tent's fabric. **Alex***, whispering to themselves, "It's gotta be here. Something, anything that makes sense." Marcus, noticing Alex's distress, placed a comforting hand on their shoulder. Marcus, concerned, "You okay, kiddo? Maybe we should just pack up and head home." Alex, firmly, "No, Dad, we can't leave without answers." Marcus sighed, understanding the depth of his child's curiosity. He nodded solemnly, knowing that turning back now would only fuel Alex's obsession with the whispers and the symbol. Marcus, resigned. "All right, but remember the rules. Stick together. And don't go wandering off." Alex nodded, a flicker of excitement mixing with the fear in their eyes. They had a plan, a way to confront the whispers that had haunted them both. The campfire crackled, sending sparks into the inky sky as the whispers grew louder. Marcus, axe in hand, chopped firewood with a fervor that matched the increasing intensity of the voices. Alex, feeling the weight of the old woman's words from the previous night, watched their dad's shadow stretch and contort with each swing. Alex, voice shaking, "Dad, I think we should go now. I don't like this." Marcus paused, his chest heaving with exertion, and met Alex's gaze. Marcus, resolute, "We're not running. We're going to face whatever this is." With a deep breath, Alex grabbed their flashlight and headed into the darkness, the whispers seeming to crescendo in anticipation of their approach. The trees grew denser, the whispers grew clearer. Alex's heart raced as they stumbled upon the old woman's cabin, its wooden slats askew and the door hanging open. Inside, candles flickered, casting shadows that danced on the walls like spectral puppets. Old woman, voice echoing, "You've come back. You've seen the symbol." Alex stepped inside, the whispers now a cacophony of voices that seemed to resonate from every corner of the cabin. Alex, desperately, "What is this place? What's happening to us?" The old woman, her eyes gleaming with a knowing sadness, spoke of a curse born of anger and vengeance, a curse that had lingered in the woods, feeding on the fear of those who dared to trespass. Old woman, "You've been marked. You're one of the chosen." Her words sent a shiver down Alex's spine. Marcus burst into the cabin, the symbol now etched onto his forehead, his eyes wild with terror. Marcus, panicking, "We have to get out of here." The old woman's eyes grew darker, and she pointed to the heart of the woods. Old woman, "To lift the curse, you must face the source of the whispers." The whispers grew to a fever pitch outside as Alex and Marcus huddled together. The symbol now burned into their consciousness. They held each other tightly, trying to find comfort in the warmth of their shared fear. Alex, despairingly, "What do we do, Dad?" Marcus held Alex close, his voice a mix of comfort and determination. Marcus, "We stick together, no matter what." Guided by the whispers that grew more urgent with each step, they stumbled into a clearing where the air was thick with an unseen presence. A circle of ancient stones stood tall, the symbol they had been haunted by etched into each one. Alex, whispering, "This is it, the source of the whispers." Marcus took a protective stance in front of Alex, his hand on the hilt of his knife. The whispers grew into a deafening roar, and the trees around them bent inwards, trapping them in the stone embrace. Malevolent force, booming, "Welcome, chosen ones." The force spoke through the very fabric of the air, its voice a chorus of the damned, Alex and Marcus exchanged a look of horror as they realized they were not alone. The whispers grew into a cacophony of pleas and taunts, a symphony of the lost souls that had been claimed by the curse. The ground trembled beneath their feet as the stones began to pulse with a malevolent energy. Alex shouting over the din. What do you want from us? Malevolent force laughing. Your fear, your suffering. It's all I've ever wanted. Alex felt a strange warmth in their pocket. The amulet the old woman had given them glowing with a gentle light. They clutched it tightly, and an idea began to form. Alex desperately. But we're not afraid. The force's laughter grew quieter, the trembling subsiding. Marcus steady voice. We're not going to let you control us. The light from the amulet grew brighter, casting out the shadows that had cloaked the clearing. The whispers grew softer, the maliciousness draining away. The stones began to crack and crumble, the malevolent force retreating into the earth with a wail of despair. The whispers ceased, and the forest grew still once more. Alex triumphant. We did it. Marcus, his eyes filled with pride, pulled Alex into a tight embrace. Marcus whispering, we did it together. The glow from the amulet enveloped them, lifting the symbol from their foreheads and dissolving it into the night air. As dawn broke, the forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The curse finally lifted. The next morning Alex and Marcus packed up their camp. The events of the night etched into their memories. They stepped into the early morning light, hand in hand, forever changed by their encounter with the unseen watchers of the woods. Alex thoughtfully. What do we tell people? Marcus looked into the distance, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Marcus smiling. Let's just say we had an adventure we'll never forget. They turned to leave, the sun casting a warm glow across the clearing. The whispers had gone, but the forest remained, a silent witness to the courage of two souls who had faced the darkness and emerged unbroken. The air was thick with anticipation as Alex and their father, Jack, ventured deeper into the heart of the ancient woods, the whispers of the trees echoing the secrets they had carried for centuries. The previous night's cacophony had left them both shaken, but it had also fueled Alex's unquenchable thirst for the truth. The journal they had found in the abandoned cabin spoke of a curse that had claimed the land, and the whispers grew ever clearer, ever closer. The cabin stood tall amidst the decaying foliage, a silent sentinel of the past, its once proud frame bowed under the weight of time and neglect, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the abyss of the woods. The door creaked open, revealing a space filled with dust motes dancing in the shafts of light that pierced the gloom. The walls were adorned with faded newspaper clippings and hand-drawn maps, each one telling a story of a soul who had dared to uncover the truth of the whispers. In the corner, a dusty journal lay open, revealing yellowed pages filled with the feverish scribblings of the cabin's last inhabitant. The words spoke of a malevolent force that had been awakened by greed and ignorance, a force that fed on fear and isolation. Alex's eyes scanned the entries, their heart racing, as they pieced together the tragic tale of a man whose curiosity had led him to this very spot, only to be consumed by the very thing he sought to expose. The journal spoke of a ceremony, a dark ritual performed by a lost civilization to keep the malevolent spirit at bay. But the ceremony had been forgotten, the barrier weakened, and the whispers had returned, seeking new souls to claim. The final entry was chilling. The whispers are in me now. I am one with them. They are coming for you. Leave before it's too late. The realization dawned upon Alex, like the first light of dawn. The whispers weren't just echoes of the past. They were the very essence of the curse itself, manifestations of fear and despair that sought to claim them as the latest in a long line of victims. Jack, his face etched with lines of concern, suggested they leave immediately, but Alex was resolute. They had come too far, faced too much, to turn back now. The whispers had marked them both, They had to find the heart of the curse and end it before it consumed them entirely. Guided by the moon's soft glow, they trekked through the woods, the whispers now a distant murmur. The journal had hinted at a hidden chamber where the dark force lay dormant, waiting to be reawakened. The journey was fraught with peril, every step echoing through the stillness, every rustle of leaves a potential threat. Finally, they stumbled upon a clearing, the center of which was dominated by a massive, ancient tree. Its gnarled roots twisted and coiled like the fingers of a giant's hand, reaching out to grasp the earth, as if to hold the very essence of the curse in its grip. The tree bore the same symbol that had marked their tent and Jack's forehead. With trembling hands, Alex pulled out the map from the journal. It depicted the tree, with an X marked at its base. The heart of the malevolent force lay beneath it. They had found the epicenter of the curse. They began to dig, their shovels biting into the cold, hard earth. Hours passed, muscles aching, until finally, they hit something solid. As they cleared away the last of the dirt, a stone chamber was revealed, the entrance sealed by a heavy slab engraved with the same symbol. With a deep breath, Alex pushed the slab aside, revealing a staircase that descended into darkness. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if the very air was alive with the cries of the damned. Hand in hand, father and child stepped into the abyss, the weight of their mission pressing down upon them. The earth above, the chamber was illuminated by an eerie, pulsing light, the heart of the curse beating like a malevolent star. At its center stood a pedestal, upon which lay a crystal shard, pulsing with a dark energy that seemed to suck the very life from the air around it. The whispers grew to a crescendo, the voices of the lost souls trapped within the crystal begging for release. Alex knew what they had to do. They had to face their fears, to become the beacon of light in the shadow. They stepped forward, the crystal's pull growing stronger, the whispers now a deafening roar. Jack watched in horror as the darkness seeped into Alex, the light in their eyes fading. He had to save them, had to break the curse before it was too late. With a strength born of love and desperation, he grabbed the crystal, feeling the malevolence surge through him. The whispers grew silent. The chamber was bathed in a sudden, blinding light, and the crystal shattered into 1,000 pieces. The earth trembled, the very fabric of the woods seeming to sigh in relief. When the light faded, Alex lay unconscious on the ground, their body limp and lifeless. Jack, drained and broken, cradled them in his arms, whispering words of comfort and love. Slowly, Alex's eyes fluttered open, the light returning to their gaze. The whispers had ceased, and the darkness had retreated. They had faced their fears and survived. The curse had been lifted. Together, they climbed out of the chamber, the first rays of dawn breaking through the canopy. The woods, once a prison of shadows and terror, now felt like a sanctuary, a place of peace and healing. Their journey had ended, but the bond between them had only grown stronger. As they made their way back to civilization, the whispers of the woods had changed. They were no longer haunting echoes of despair, but the gentle whispers of the earth, welcoming them home. Alex and Jack emerging from the woods, hand in hand, the sun rising behind them. They had conquered their fears and the malevolent force that had held the woods in its grip. The camera panned out, the whispers now a distant memory, the trees standing tall and proud, free from the curse that had plagued them for so long. The story of Alex and Jack's harrowing experience in the cursed woods had reached its crescendo, but the whispers of a new adventure had already begun to take root, hinting at the mysteries that still lay hidden within the vast, unexplored expanses of nature. The stage was set for a future filled with intrigue, danger, and the possibility of redemption. The moon had risen high above the treetops, casting a silvery glow upon the dense, ancient forest floor. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, the whispers of the woods seemingly more tangible and urgent than ever before. Alex and their father, both weary yet driven by a mix of fear and determination, trudged through the underbrush, guided by the haunting melody that had been their eerie lullaby for the past week. The whispers grew louder with each step, and the symbol they had encountered earlier, once etched into the bark of a solitary tree, now seemed to be branded into their very psyches. It was as if the forest itself was speaking to them, beckoning them towards something terrible and inescapable. Alex clutched the tattered journal tightly, their knuckles white with tension. The words within had painted a chilling picture of a civilization long lost to darkness, consumed by a force that feasted on fear and despair. The heart of this malevolence was said to lie in a hidden chamber deep within the woods, a place where the barrier between worlds was at its thinnest. Their destination was a gaping maw in the earth, obscured by a tangle of thick vines and roots that looked almost deliberately knotted to prevent discovery. A faint, pulsing light emanated from within, hinting at the unnatural presence that awaited them. The entrance to the cave was framed by two ancient, twisted trees that stood sentinel, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers to grasp at the sky. "Dad," Alex murmured, their voice trembling. "Are we sure we should be doing this?" Their father, a man who had once been the epitome of stoic strength, paused, his hand resting on the cold, damp stone. He took a deep breath, his eyes reflecting the flickering light of their torches. "We have to, Alex. We can't leave those souls trapped here." They stepped into the cavernous mouth, the whispers echoing around them, growing into a cacophony that seemed to press against their very being. The walls of the cave were slick with an unidentifiable substance that glowed faintly with an unearthly luminescence. The air grew colder, the light grew dimmer, and the whispers grew louder, a symphony of agony and regret that seemed to resonate within their very bones. As they ventured deeper, the cave narrowed, the walls closing in around them. The whispers grew clearer, coalescing into words that formed a chilling chant. "We are the forgotten, the lost, the consumed. Heed our cries, break the chain, or you shall become one of us." The passage grew steeper, the ground slippery with what could only be described as a viscous, black sludge. The light from their torches danced upon the walls, revealing grotesque carvings of twisted figures in perpetual torment. The symbol they had been following was etched into the stone, now pulsating with a sickly energy that seemed to resonate with the very core of the earth. Finally, they reached a vast chamber, the ceiling lost in shadow. The pulsing light grew brighter, revealing a pool of the same dark liquid that had coated the cave floor. At its center stood a monolith, carved with the symbol that had become a harbinger of their fate. The whispers grew into a deafening roar, and the very air seemed to vibrate with the anguished cries of the trapped souls. As they approached the monolith, the whispers grew into a frenzy, the voices of the lost souls begging for release. A hand reached out from the pool, bony fingers grasping for them, desperate for salvation, or perhaps to pull them into the abyss. Alex and their father stumbled back, horror etched on their faces. The whispers grew clearer still, coalescing into a single, mournful voice. It spoke of a time before the darkness, a time of light and life, and of a ritual gone awry that had doomed them all to an eternity of torment. The voice grew stronger, more demanding, as the very fabric of reality around them began to distort. Alex looked at their father, their eyes wide with terror. "We have to break the curse," they shouted over the din. "But how?" he yelled back. The voice grew softer, almost a murmur. "Find the heart of the darkness and destroy it." The whispers grew to a crescendo, and the chamber trembled. The monolith began to crack, revealing a gaping hole in the center of the pool. From within, the agonized screams grew louder, more intense. "The heart," Alex whispered, their eyes locked on the abyss. They stepped forward, the whispers urging them on, and together, father and child plunged into the inky depths. The water was colder than anything they had ever felt, a chilling embrace that seemed to leach the warmth from their very bones. They swam downward, guided by the light that grew more intense with every stroke. At the bottom of the pool, they found a chamber of crystal, the heart of the darkness pulsating within. It was a grotesque amalgamation of organic and inorganic matter, a black stone that pulsed with malevolent energy. The whispers grew silent, the air charged with anticipation. Alex's father pulled out the ancient dagger they had found in the cabin, its blade gleaming with a power that seemed to counter the darkness. "Together," he said, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hand. They reached out, the dagger poised to strike, when the whispers returned, louder than ever before. The voices grew into a single, commanding shout. "You shall not pass." The chamber was filled with the shadows of the lost souls, their forms writhing and reaching out, trying to stop them. Alex felt a cold hand clamp down on their wrist, trying to pull them back into the pool. With a surge of strength born from desperation, Alex yanked their hand free and, with their father's firm grip on the other end of the dagger, they plunged it into the heart of darkness. The stone shattered with a deafening cry, the echoes of which reverberated through the chamber. The pool of blackness drained away, revealing a chamber of light. The shadows of the souls grew more substantial, their forms solidifying into a ragged assembly of lost travelers, each one wearing an expression of profound relief. The chamber grew brighter still, and the souls began to ascend, their cries of anguish turning to whispers of gratitude. Alex and their father watched, awestruck, as the light grew to envelop them, filling them with a warmth that seemed to cleanse the very air around them. As the light dimmed, they found themselves back in the clearing where their nightmare had begun, the campfire now a gentle, welcoming glow. The whispers had ceased, the air no longer thick with dread. The symbol on their tent had faded. The darkness lifted from the woods. They looked at each other, their eyes filled with the weight of what they had just experienced. They had faced their fears and conquered the malevolent force that had held the woods in its thrall. The screams had been silenced, and the lost souls had found their peace. Exhausted but triumphant, they packed up their camp and set off into the now tranquil night, leaving the heart of darkness behind them forever. The whispers of the woods had become a gentle lullaby, the trees no longer holding secrets, but sharing tales of the brave souls who had restored the balance. The end of their harrowing journey was marked by a quiet, solemn walk through the now calm woods. The whispers had faded into the night, leaving only the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. They emerged into the clearing, where their car was parked, the headlights casting a warm glow upon the path ahead. As they drove away, the trees lining the road seemed to whisper a farewell, the weight of their experience forever etched into their hearts. They had stared into the abyss and found their way back into the light, forever changed by the secrets of the forest and the strength they had discovered within themselves. At night, the dense canopy above blocks out the moon, casting deep shadows across the forest floor. Alex, a determined 16-year-old with a hint of fear in their eyes, holds a flickering flashlight as they navigate through the labyrinth of trees with their father, Jim, who has an air of stoic resolve. They've been led here by the whispers that have tormented them since their first night in the woods. Alex and Jim stand before a cavernous opening, the whispers now a cacophony of pain and anger. They share a look of trepidation before stepping into the abyss. The cave walls pulse with an eerie glow, revealing ancient runes that seem to be the source of the whispers. They follow the runes deeper into the earth, the air growing colder and heavier. Suddenly, the whispers coalesce into a single, anguished voice. "Voiceos, help me, please. Help me." Alex and Jim enter a chamber filled with the lost souls of those who succumbed to the curse. The souls are bound by tendrils of shadow, reaching out to them with pleading eyes. In the center, a spectral figure looms, the grieving father. "Grieving father, you've come to join us, haven't you? To feel the pain of those you leave behind." "Jim, no. We're here to help. To end this curse, grieving father. You think you can help? You think you can just waltz in here and fix what's been broken for centuries? Alex, we just want to understand. Why are you doing this?" The grieving father's form flickers with rage and grief. "Grieving father, my son, my boy. He was lost in these woods, and no one came to find him. His screams fell on deaf ears, and his spirit was left to wander, to scream for eternity." A heart-wrenching scene unfolds as the grieving father recounts his son's tragic fate, lost in the very woods they now stand in. His sorrow has twisted into anger, and he has become the curse itself. Guided by a dim light, Alex and Jim reach the center of the curse, a crystal emanating a dark energy, surrounded by the souls of the lost. "Jim, Alex, I need you to do something for me. Alex, what is it, Dad? Jim, you need to break the crystal. It's the only way to free these souls. Alex looks at the crystal, then at their father, fear in their eyes. Alex, but what about you? Jim, smiling softly, I'll be right beside you. I promise. Alex takes a deep breath and raises a rock, ready to strike the crystal. Grieving father OS, no, you'll unleash the darkness. The grieving father appears, a flurry of shadow and anger. The grieving father grapples with Alex, trying to stop them from shattering the crystal. Grieving father, you don't understand. The pain will consume you. Alex, tears streaming down their face. I'm sorry, but we can't let this go on. With a trembling hand, Alex smashes the crystal. The chamber erupts in a blast of light and sound, the whispers transforming into cries of relief. The crystal lies in shards at their feet, the dark energy dissipating. The lost souls begin to fade away, finally finding peace. Jim, Alex, are you okay? Alex looks around, the chamber now silent except for their own breathing. Alex, I think so. The next morning, the sun breaks through the canopy, casting dappled light across the forest floor. Alex and Jim emerge from the cave, weary but triumphant. Alex voiceover. We thought we had won, that we had saved the lost souls and broken the curse, but we had also shattered the heart of the grieving father's rage. Jim, we should go home. Alex, we've done all we can here. Alex finds the journal they had discovered earlier, left behind in their haste. They sit down to read the final entry. Alex Vo. The last page of the journal was a letter from the grieving father to his son. It spoke of love, regret, and the hope that one day they would be reunited. Alex and Jim walk through the woods, now serene and peaceful. Alex Vo. The whispers had stopped, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant call of birds. The grieving father sits at his desk, penning the final words of his letter. His tears fall onto the page. Grieving father Vo. I'm sorry, my son. I never meant for this to happen. I only wanted to be heard. Alex, now fully understanding the father's pain, makes a silent vow. Alex Vo. We realized that the whispers weren't just a curse, but a plea for compassion, a reminder that we're all connected, and that every scream for help deserves an answer. Alex and Jim pack up their camp, the sun setting on their harrowing journey. Jim, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. You did good, kid. Alex, smiling weakly. Thanks, Dad. The car winds through the woods, the tension of the night before replaced by a solemn silence. Alex Vo. We left the whispering woods forever changed, carrying the weight of the grieving father's sorrow with us. Alex looks back at the woods, now shrinking in the rearview mirror. Alex Vo. But we also left with a newfound strength and a bond that could never be broken. As they drive out of the woods in the car, the woods give way to civilization. The whispers a distant memory. Alex Vo. And though the silence after was deafening, we knew that the screams had finally been heard. Thank you so much for joining me on this cinematic journey. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Have you experienced a spine-chilling horror that left you trembling? Share your terrifying tale with us by emailing nightmarenetwork@hotmail.com, and we'd be thrilled to feature it on our platform. Until next time, happy movie watching.